Magandang umaga po sa ating lahat, sa ating mga mag-aaral ng Dive Elementary School, sa ating mga magulang, sa kapwa magigitong kong guro, gayon din sa ating punong guro Ma'am Maylene M. de Maculangan at sa ating PSPS Ma'am Ginaline B. Preo. Republic of the Philippines, Department of Education, Region 4A Calabarzon, Division of Laguna, Dayap Elementary School, Ilaya, Barangay Dayap, Calauan, Laguna. Certificate of Appreciation. This is presented to in recognition for the support extended or given to their child in online distance learning since the first quarter of school year 2020-2021 and also for their being great partners of the school. Given at Dayap Elementary School, Calauan, Laguna, on May 21, 2021. Signed by our school principal, Ma'am Maylene M. de Maculangan. Certificate of Appreciation to Mr. Kenneth and Mrs. Crystal Cassandra Binalingbing. Certificate of Appreciation to Mr. Donny Ray and Mrs. Annalyn Bisco. Certificate of Appreciation to Mr. Noriel and Mrs. Jonalyn Kabatian. Certificate of Appreciation to Mr. Sherwin and Mrs. Irene Cedre. Certificate of Appreciation to Mr. Mark Allen and Mrs. Marian Colliantes. Certificate of Appreciation to Mr. Norbin and Mrs. Joanne Fortuna. Certificate of Appreciation to Mr. JP and Mrs. Brenda Garinga. Certificate of Appreciation to Mr. Herald and Mrs. Larissa Iglesias. Certificate of Appreciation to Mr. Jubelson and Mrs. Jonalie Liwanag. Certificate of Appreciation to Mr. Sandy and Mrs. Annalette Leiza Orongan. Certificate of Appreciation to Miss Mary Ann Rono. Certificate of Appreciation to Miss Mary Amiel Silorio. Certificate of Appreciation to Mr. Allen and Mrs. Mariel Suarez. Certificate of Appreciation to Mr. Fermin and Mrs. Avelina Agonia. Certificate of Appreciation to Mr. Edwin and Mrs. Emeline Aguiling. Certificate of Appreciation to Mr. Jeffrey and Mrs. Jenny Alberto. Certificate of Appreciation to Mr. Archie and Mrs. Zara Elaine Alzona. Certificate of Appreciation to Mr. Roberto and Mrs. Catherine De Leon. Certificate of Appreciation to Mr. Oliver and Mrs. Eileen Garinga. Certificate of Appreciation to Mr. Jed and Mrs. Mary Leanne Ignacio. Certificate of Appreciation to Miss Jocelyn Chua Pacheco. Certificate of Appreciation to Mr. Isagani and Mrs. Jessica Pendon. Certificate of Appreciation to Mr. Jacqueline and Mrs. Gemma Pineda. Certificate of Appreciation to Mr. Joselito and Mrs. Marini Rebong. Certificate of Appreciation to Mr. Guillermo and Mrs. Sharon Salvador. Certificate of Appreciation to Mr. Noriel and Mrs. Jessa Soriano. Certificate of Appreciation to Mr. Jerry and Mrs. Richelle Ulan. Certificate of Appreciation to Mr. John Paul and Mrs. Jeremy Unigo. Certificate of Appreciation to Mr. Mark Joseph and Mrs. Catherine Versosa. And last but not the least, Certificate of Appreciation to Mr. Sunny and Mrs. Eden Asuncion. Thank you so much po to our dear parents and to all the parents in Dayap Elementary School, and congratulations po. Once again, good morning.